Hi, it's Brooke with the Nap Nook, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these masks. These masks are super easy to make. There's several ways to make them. This tutorial is targeted towards people that are familiar with sewing. You own a machine and you are familiar with, own, or know how to make bias tape or binding. For those of you that don't own a machine or you're not that familiar with sewing, there'll be other tutorials following this one that will be targeted towards like an easier method, even one later using a hot glue gun. But this is a sewing method I'm going to go through step by step to make these pleated masks. You'll need any piece of fabric. I'm holding a fat quarter. Any piece of fabric will work. It just needs to make sure that you can cut it 8 inches by 15 inches approximately to make the mask. This is a piece of fabric that's already been cut, so this would be step 2. I'm holding an 8 by 15 piece of fabric. We're gonna fold this pretty sides together, everyone's favorite term, just completely in half. The folded side being, for now, the bottom, and the top being the piece that we're getting ready to sew. I'm changing fabrics on you because I wanted to make this as easy as possible and already have it done. This is the top. Again, this is the folded part of your fabric. You're gonna sew only one step here. 2 seams about 1/2 inch from the top, leaving a gap that's approximately 2.5 to 3 inches open, enough to put another piece of ventilation material. Your next step is going to be to take this fabric, pull it to where now that seam is on top and in the middle. So I'm going to lay this flat on my ironing table, and this is something you can really eyeball. Make sure that's in the middle, fold it down, press with an iron. You'll end up with a piece that looks just like this. Once you've completed that, open it from either side, right side out. Now that we have this piece of fabric right side out, I'm gonna lay it on my flat surface. Make sure that the crease is in the back center again. Your crease is going to open horizontally, not vertically. Align it in the middle. Again, I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm gonna hit it with an iron. You're gonna end up with a piece of fabric that looks just like this. The slit in the middle is going horizontally, not vertically, and then the other side is the front. So, front side up. You can do this one of 2 ways. If you're familiar with making pleats, you can eyeball it. This is how I do it. I just grab pieces and fold from the bottom, grab, pinch, fold up, see that I'm getting the proportions right, clip, fold, clip, and hit with an iron. For people not as familiar with making pleats, there's an easy method using pins. Starting from the bottom, make a pin 1 inch up. From there, you'll do a pin 1 inch up, 1/2 inch up, 1 inch up, 1/2 inch up, 1 inch up. You'll do the same on the other side, making sure that these pins are completely uniform. When folded, they should match up completely. You'll take the bottom pin and fold it to the pin that's next to it. Line up your fabric, remove the 2 pins, replace it with 1 pin, and you have your first pleat on that side. Then from the next pin, you're going to match that pin. Once that's matched up, remove the 2 pins, replace it with 1 pin, 2 pins, fold together, replace it with 1 pin, and then you'll do the same on the other side. Regardless of the method, you'll end up with pleats that look like this. What I did after I pinned mine together on both sides is I just took the machine and barely placed a stitch just to kind of keep it in place. You'll end up with a mask that looks like this with pleats. This is the front of the mask. The back of the mask will be the part of the mask that has the slit that opens for additional filtration fabric. If you don't want to do just a quick stitch to hold it, you can also hold it together with binding clips. But either way, you need it held together so you can attach the bias tape or binding that people are putting on these masks to not only close up that side, but to tie around their face. When you have your pleats ready, and I always continue to iron these pleats just to make sure that they're flat and they're straight, you're ready to attach your bias tape, your binding, your strings, whatever you want to call them, and I'll show you how to do that. Your piece of fabric should be at least 36 inches, and I've measured this one in advance. It is at least 36 inches. I think it's actually over or right at. Find the middle, and then find the middle on your mask, and I'm going to attach this, pull my mask in to the middle of that binding tape, fold my binding tape over, get it super close, use clips to attach it very securely, and then you're going to hit that with your machine and sew as close as you can. You might have to do a couple of stitches to get, this is a thinner bias tape, so you might have to do a couple stitches, and you would sew all the way down, and we have a finished mask.